Nelson Mandela once said, "Action without vision is only passing time. Vision without action is merely a daydream. But vision with action can change the world." The united ideals of a new South Africa are represented in a company listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange that is delivering shareholder returns while firmly recognizing South Africa's past, present, and future. African Equity Empowerment Investments, AEEI, was founded on a vision to empower a generation of entrepreneurs and business people to work together and flourish in the new economic mainstream post the inception of 1994's democratic South Africa. From the onset, the company's ethos was focused on carving a unique space for itself, founded on shared values. This has been realized through its Vision 2020 vision strategy, which has enabled the group to clearly see what is required of it to remain at the forefront and continue to grow its influence and bottom line. Recently received accolades that attest to AEEI's performance, not only as a top-performing Black-owned and led enterprise, but as a leading financially successful entity, and one that was also acknowledged as a leader in its category for transparency and governance reporting, confirm the fact that transformation is alive and well in corporate South Africa. AEEI's financial performance improves steadily year on year as the team remains singularly focused on reaching its pre-identified goals. AEEI eschews the norm in favor of the extraordinary. This ethos in action has led to the evident benefits of a group whose outstanding financial results deliver the perfect balance between dynamic market performance and a true commitment to progressive leadership.
Hi, I'm Khalid Abdullah, Group CEO of African Equity Empowerment Investments, a company that has grown over the years, started off as a BEE company. We've now won several awards with regards to governance, financial performance, empowerment. We've got various sectors that we operate in with a serious focus. We've got the fishing, we've got ICT and technology, we've got a health and beauty, we've got events and tourism and the biotech sector as well. We've also got a strategic arm which covers British Telecoms, Signet Asset Managers, Saab Grandic Defence and Pioneer. Each of these sectors have their own CEO and they're very focused. All we do is kind of drive the businesses, make sure efficiencies come through and show further growth.
The specific operational investment sectors AEEI is developing to unlock growth opportunities and deliver sustainable value to its shareholders are food and fishing, technology, health, events and tourism, and biotechnology, the group's research and development division. Premier Fishing specializes in the harvesting, processing, and marketing of fish and fish-related products with a focus on innovative processes to achieve environmental best practices and community development.
My name is Samir Saban. I'm the CEO of Premier Fishing. Premier Fishing is the largest black-owned fishing company in South Africa. We currently own a number of long to medium-term quotas in the following sectors: South Coast Rock Lobster, West Coast Rock Lobster, squid, abalone, sea grow, and pilchards and anchovy. With our partners AEI, we are continually implementing innovative processes in our value chain to increase efficiencies in line with environmental best practices. We commit to mentor and develop all of our staff and our employees, and ultimately giving the best returns to our shareholders.
Within the technology group are a series of ICT companies providing effective business solutions and services that enhance performance in a modern data-driven world, with a particular focus on the healthcare and financial services sectors, as well as mobile and data security solutions in the industrial sector and the renewable energy arena.
My name is Gerrit Jenne. I'm the Managing Director of a company called the Health System Technologies, or HST for short. Health System Technologies is a major contributor to the healthcare ICT sector in South Africa, but also increasingly so on the African continent, where fast, effective and robust and secure technology is required to improve delivery in the ever-evolving healthcare sector.
HST's association with the AEEI Group not only opens doors to sister companies and the synergies we can derive from them, but also to other healthcare markets internationally.
The companies within AEEI's health division are internationally recognized for their outstanding track records in the field of health, pharmaceutical, and biotherapeutics, delivering cost-effective and highly relevant healthcare, food and hygiene solutions, especially in the agricultural, hygiene, and food sectors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Siddharth, Executive Manager for Health, Agriculture and Biotherapeutics in the AEEI Group under Weinberg Pharmaceuticals. The need for hygiene and sanitation has always been an imperative, but with the current move towards a more natural product for agriculture and food processing solutions, Weinberg Pharmaceuticals, with its Vibaxin range of products that are human, animal and plant safe, is perfectly placed to capitalize on the shift. AEEI gives us the support we need to expand our horizons and continue developing cutting-edge answers to today's agricultural, food and health sectors.
My name is Ismet Ahmad. I'm the CEO of Genius Biotherapeutics. Genius Biotherapeutics is probably one of the oldest biotechnology companies in South Africa, if not in Africa.
The Events and Tourism Division is an exciting and well-balanced offering, with an award-winning events management company complemented by a commercial radio station and a travel company. ESP Africa stages large-scale events across Africa, but is best known as the organizer of the world-renowned Cape Town International Jazz Festival that has regularly received global recognition for its professional productions and has become a fan favorite for its overall experience. Taking its skills to new heights, the company recently launched a series of niche exclusive experiences, including the Royal Escape Experience, that caters for what discerning audiences are looking for in new entertainment.
I'm Billy Domingo. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for ESP Africa. Being part of AEEI has allowed us to really grow from being a world-class international jazz festival into the most spectacular jazz festival on the African continent. I'm really having fun. And it's great to be part of AEEI because the support is incredible.
New to this division is a medium-wave commercial music radio station, Magic 8 to 8 AM, that owns its own mast and therefore has autonomy over its output. Founded by radio industry veteran Tony Sanderson, Magic's predominantly music-only format is winning the ears of listeners across the Western Cape after only a year on the airwaves. The radio station has attracted significant interest from advertisers looking to speak to a growing listenership who are more interested in hit music than rhetoric.
Hi, I'm Tony Sanderson, CEO of Magic 828 AM. We're the latest and the greatest radio station in the Western Cape. We broadcast all over the region and we look forward to having you as listeners. And thankfully, we thank AEEI for being our partner in this affair, a forward-thinking company that saw the future of independent radio.
The travel company has developed into a highly innovative travel and tourism management company, focusing on corporate travel management and international tourism services. Tripos Travel services inbound and outbound travel options, and as a result, there are great synergies between the companies in the events and tourism sector and beyond.
My name is Rafiq Rumani. I'm the Executive General Manager for Tripos Travel and Tourism. At Tripos Travel, we focus on corporate and leisure travel, both inbound and outbound. The synergies that exist within AEEI has enabled us as a travel and tourism company to grow by expanding our product offering and accessing new markets.
British Telecom is one of the world's leading communication services companies and provider of one of the most advanced and secure telecommunications and IT services to multinationals throughout South Africa. During its partnership with AEEI, BT has played a significant role in facilitating the re-entry of historically marginalized communities into the mainstream economy by investing in South African people and resources. Saab Greentech Defence serves the global market with world-leading products, services and solutions from military defense to civil security. With operations on every continent, Saab continuously develops, adapts and improves new technology to meet customers' changing needs. With a key focus on security, SAAB combines a passion for innovation with technical and specialist knowledge to serve the evolving security needs of a global society. SAAB Greentech Defence was awarded Best Export Company in South Africa 2013 and 2014. Signia is an innovative fintech company based in South Africa and listed on the main board of the JSE. The company provides asset management, stockbroking and administration services, as well as a wide range of savings products to institutional and retail clients. Their portfolio is supported by leading-edge technology platforms. Signia manages and administers assets on behalf of over 600 domestic and international institutional clients and over 6,000 individual clients. The integrity of these relationships is the core of our business. The Pioneer Food Group is home to a large number of South African household brands. As one of the largest producers and distributors of food, beverages and related products, the group focuses on consistent service delivery and product excellence, supported by a dynamic workforce across the country. AEEI is a purpose-led business with a clear vision, values and opportunities for growth. Our continent, with its fast economic growth on the back of a rich resource base, improvements in the political environment and governance, trade liberation and extension of trade corridors, contributes to the logical need for AEEI to increase its footprint into Africa and ultimately internationally. While we acknowledge that the financial bottom line is important, we also recognize that Africa, and in particular the SADC regions, are ripe and ready for new investments through established black economic empowerment companies such as AEEI.
We've grown by 40% year on year, and we're excited about where we're going with the company. We've also done some acquisitions over the last year and showing further growth. Our Vision 2020, our plans that we have is to double up our business over the next 3 years, list our fishing company separately, list the IT company separately, and obviously create a lot more jobs. We're trying to make a difference in South Africa and on the continent as a whole. And I think, with having said that, I think we're very excited about where the company is going.
We believe that there are plenty of opportunities for synergistic, acquisitive growth into African countries. Successful companies need healthy societies, and healthy societies need successful companies. At AEEI, we commit ourselves to an uncompromising approach to sustainability by creating shared value for all.
I think that presentation is already done. I'm just here to answer questions. But anyway, look, so as you know, we do this on a 6-monthly basis, so you'll know the format, but I'll try and run through it and I'll leave some time for questions and answers. But if you wish, you can also stop me along the way. So I know sometimes someone's got burning issues, and let's get it through the... Anyway, so let me again take you through the financial results, the understanding again of the group. I'm passionate about making the market understand the group. I think by now they should understand it. But just so we're clear on exactly our strategy, we've got a very clear strategy on where we're going, so it's important that people understand it. The divisional highlights obviously is quite key. I'll give some market information. The Vision 2020 is what we live by on a daily basis, which I think we'll take you through and where we're at and the targets that's met and what we're still working towards. Obviously, our network is quite important and the value is created. Our brands, obviously, the group is growing. We're building brands, we're building a structure, we're building a multinational here. Financial highlights, as I said, we've broken R1 billion worth of revenue. I think it's a record for our group. As you can see, it's a 43% up from last year. So we did some acquisitions, but organic growth is still 10-15% annually, but you can just do that as much as possible. You can sweat your assets. We can sweat assets, and R1 billion revenue is quite significant for us. You can see the operating profit as well. I'll take you through the details in it, but you can see it's up by 111%. Your profit after tax is up by 154%. The cash, which is quite key, you can see we're generating 80 million worth of cash. And if you look at 80 million over revenue of that, that's at least a 7-8% cash generation, and most companies make 8%, 9% net profit, but we're generating cash in that instance as well. Our total assets, as you can see, it's gone up by 67%. That's also part of our model. As you know, we're an investment holding company, but we also got some operations. So we can do both. We can run business as well as look after business as well on behalf of our shareholders. The group net asset value, as you can see, has doubled, and that's quite key because it shows, number one, the asset growth, but also the operational value and growth that's come through. As you can see, the net asset value is at 260. It's also up by 39. Headline earnings has got a significant jump. There's been some restructure, which I'll take you through because of that, and the earnings per share. And if you look at that number there, as you can see, it's been creeping up slowly. Today, we just heard now about 20 minutes ago that our share price went to 550 for those that don't know. So it looks like another record year for ourselves. This is just the detail, a detailed breakdown of the slide before. But as you can see, there's some fair values, which I'll take you through, which is quite critical, but that's in line with our strategy to list our IT company. So we had to write up one of our investments to a point that we're moving it across to IO, which is going to be listing in the near future. Other than that, the numbers, as you can see, it all stacks up to the previous summary slide. So our key performance areas generally is our total assets. We said 2 years ago we're going to double our total assets. I think we're nearly there. In fact, I think we may have even passed it. But that's a sizable increase from year on year. So I think we're very happy with that. The NAV is up by 100%. Long-term borrowing's gone up marginally, so we're not too concerned with the amount of growth that we're getting. So we're still very debt averse. We still try and keep it as low as possible, but without stunting the business. As I said, the NAV is quite significant. The company NAV is also up there. And if you look at the company NAV, is quite significant as well. And that's all based on audit numbers, but more from a historical number. I'll take you through what I mean by that later. Cash flow, again, as I said, we did generate 80 million rands worth of cash in the business. Obviously, you'll see there's a significant swing, which I'll explain to you. That's mainly related to the operations, number one. But we also raised about 520 million from the fishing listing. We spent some of it, not too much, but you can see the generation of cash is there. The surprise of the day, I think we had dividends for August 2007. Last year we paid 3.3 cents. We paid the interim dividend of 2 cents for this current financial year. And now today we're recommending a 5.5, the board, which means that there's a total of 7.5 cents dividend for the year. If you add up the interim we paid in May and now this one. So there's 120% increase in dividends. Okay, understanding the group again, just how it all stacks up and how we've built it slowly but surely. The fishing business, we've got the operational stuff. As I said, the fishing business, the technology, the health and beauty, as well as the events and tourism. We've got the R&D business we still have and some strategic ones as well. So on the fishing one, I don't want to go into too much detail, but we are quite a niche player in this market, and I think we've achieved quite a bit in the last year. We're the biggest and black managed and black owned company, and hence we're seeing the deal flow starting to happen because obviously it's strategic in the industry to be able to have those. All the relevant accreditations, professionalism we've got a good niche in our product basket. We're very diverse. So it's not as if we had a bad year to some extent in our pilchards for this year, but the whole industry has been bad. But the rest of the products came through and we obviously achieved the results that we wanted to. Again, if you understand our basket, we're quite well spread. South Coast rock lobster, the West Coast rock lobster, pelagic squid, hake, aquaculture, which is our abalone farming. We do some seaweed, we got sea grow, and we're looking to build some international brands as well. Again, we are a market leader in various of our product lines. I don't go into too much detail. Just on the numbers, take you through the revenue for the fishing business. Grew marginally, but I said we had a bad year with the pilchards, and we had a bad year with regards to the foreign exchange. It was lower than our budgeted, but we still achieved our targets, which shows there. There's a slight error in your presentation on this number, so it looks like it's come down, but it's actually gone up marginally. But it's a solid EBITDA and performance 80 million over 400, so it's almost a 20% EBITDA. The key highlights, obviously, as you know, we've listed this company separately. The results for the fishing business was released 2 weeks ago. They were up approximately 3%, and it had some good reviews. We saw most of the major institutional shares thereafter. It was funny, Samir and I and Tatenda, when we were on the roadshow to raise capital, they gave us the confidence, they put 526 million in our hands, and they said to us, go and spend it. 2 months after we listed, they said, why haven't you spent it yet? So we said, just be patient, but you promise you're going to spend it quickly. Don't leave a lazy balance sheet. And when we did this deal now, they saw, okay, no, we're glad you waited because you're now paying at much better pricing. So the moral of the story is be patient and, the returns will come. Again, we're increasing consistently on an organic basis our third-party quotas. The Tolado deal, as you know, which we just did. It's the biggest squid company in the country, so which means we now niche and we control 2 sectors. We control the South Coast rock lobster in South Africa as well as the squid. We'll be once it's all done, we will be managing that as well. This also is a diversification strategy for ourselves because the lobster goes mainly into China and to America. This is a predominantly European player, so we're trying to hedge all over as well. And I'm happy to see unfortunately for South Africa, but I'm happy to see the pounds getting stronger on 18 rand, so hopefully we'll see some of the benefits of that coming through in the new year as well. Just future prospects, again, the abalone farm we are working on flat out. We are doing a visit there again in December with some of our stakeholders. The canning facility is up and running. We're looking to acquire small to medium size, which we've just done. We're looking for more. We've already seen the deal flow improving, and we're looking at least 1 or 2 more possibilities. Again, the opportunities for us here is quite significant. And because the credentials there, they believe we're a black company, but we understand the industry. One of the reasons we did the deal with Tolado, and the fact that the sellers are staying in with being in at least 47%, they believe that obviously they found the right partners who understand the business, partners will help them grow their 47%. So those are all key factors, not just always about the money. On the technology business, as you know, we had the name Sekunjalo Technology Service. For those who may or may not know, this used to be the own Sekunjalo Healthcare 20 years ago, or 18 years ago. We evolved it into an IT group, and we've got some loyal shareholders who have been waiting for a while. We changed the name to Sekunjalo TSL when we decided to turn into IT group. That business has now changed its name, and it's now IO Technologies. So watch this space, because there's some things happening. And as you can see, we're preparing for a proposed listing. Timing is key, but we'll keep you posted. As you can see, there's some serious brands that's behind this listing plans of ours in the IT group. Some of them you're familiar with, some of them may be new. The 2 subsidiaries we bought in the last 10 months have bedded down very well. They've also grown. For example, Puleng has doubled in revenue since we bought them, so it's quite significant. Headsets has also grown quite significantly. On headsets, we opened up another office in Mauritius so we can supply into Africa because the tax rates are down to 3%. So we're trying to work efficiently as well. Again, the brands are there. Again, this company is quite diversified and does quite a lot of different things. But I need to get to the structure. The competitive advantages for this business is quite significant. And it's unfortunate that companies like EOH, for example, and Didata seem to be faltering on the market. We're not building this business as a model of what they have. We planned our business about 2 or 3 years ago for future growth. And you can see there's quite a bit of market share that we have, and I think we're in a very good niche space there. And the fact that we've got BT South Africa powering us as well going forward, which I think is going to be quite significant going forward. The growth strategy, as you know, British Telecoms, we've taken significant influence on it about 10 months ago. We now got 2 members on the board out of 5, and we have the chairperson as an AEEI elect. And hence the accounting treatment of this one has changed, and I'll take you through some of that as well, which is quite a significant move for ourselves. And hence BT will now in future be reported under the IO group. with some approvals as we get them. The two subsidiaries, as I said, have settled down very, very well. As you know, internet security has become quite a big issue. Pooling has grown. In fact, they're in every bank in the country at the moment. When they started off, I think they were in one bank. Since our involvement, they picked up all the other banks as well. So this is quite a significant slide. So this is kind of the before and after, right? So I'm excluding BT for now. So you can see the revenues, just so people understand, there's been significant growth in the business. The revenue has almost doubled. In fact, it's more than doubled. The operating profit, as you can see, is up by 47%. So the reason you may ask why has it grown by such a small amount is because now that our base IT group has grown significantly. We used to make margins of 35, 40%. We are able to buy into companies that makes less margins because we'll get synergies going forward. So don't be alarmed by that, but you can still see it's still very, very good EBITDA profits over the revenues. However, with the changes that we saw in the year, this is what the IT company effectively, you can get a sense of what it will look like in future. This is obviously what was the results of last year, and obviously there's some fair values in here, which I'll take you through, and that's BT. We had to do that from an IFRS point of view. Once that's done, as you know, we're moving, as shareholders, we're moving the BT investment out of AEEI soon and into IO, to obviously in preparation for the move and to have it structured in the right place. Operationally, there's also going to be some changes, and I think that will be quite significant for the group. Okay, the future prospects, I said, we're planning that. Timing is key. We're working behind the scenes and just with all our advisors to see the timing, when and how. But so besides running operations, we're obviously planning and strategically building a group that's going to be quite significant in future. The health and beauty is quite exciting as well. Of note, we bought a company that does import and distribution of cosmetic brands from Europe. Obviously, we're in the agricultural space as well. This business has completely evolved from where it was. Many, many years ago, if you remember, it used to be Sekujalo Healthcare. We've evolved and tried different things. This business, I must say, has grown. There's some of the brands, as you can see. We've got Don Kuri in the audience here. In fact, he's sitting in front here, who's joined us. He's rejoined us. I think he's been with the group 10, 15 years ago. He's rejoined us this year. And he's added quite a significant part of the business of Orleans, understanding the cosmetics. So all these cosmetics companies here have realigned themselves to ourselves. We've got new agreements with them. When we went to see them overseas, they gave us their full blessing, signing the agreements, within a month or two, very quickly, which is a good sign. And we've already started to talk to them about bringing in new products. And I may as well say, Don, we signed with, we were never in Edgars. We're busy rolling out with 20 Edgars as we speak over the next while. So, and Christmas is coming, so we believe that we're just in time, yeah. From a profitability point of view, if you look at the numbers there, for the first time, Sekujalo Healthcare has made a profit in many, many years. So things are turning. It's looking good. I think the cosmetics business will do well. The business on the Vibaxin side did have a bit of a tough time in the last year or so, as you know, but that's because of the drought, unfortunately. What we've done, we've now moved selling in the north, and the north sales are picking up quite significantly, but they don't seem to have drought there. And I think this business is going to grow quite significantly in the next while. Steady, but it is growing quite steadily. The future plan said, we're going to grow into new markets. We're seeing new products coming to the market. We're trying to bring in new cosmetics. We may be launching a few next year at the Jazz Festival, which we're hoping to work towards, new brands coming in. And we are in the Woolworths, for example. We are in Edgars. So it's quite significant context that we have there as well. The events and tourism, as you know, ESP, Tripos, Magic, you saw the presentation earlier on. It's an events and events and production and events management company. We do our own as well as third-party events as well. In fact, a month ago we were awarded they call it the Festival of Lights, but it's actually switching on of the lights when the mayor switches on the lights in December. So we've been given the contract. It's about a 3 or 4 million and contract. So we're picking up these things very steadily. Over and above the Jazz Festival we're doing, we're working on 1 or 2 other events in the north as well. And as you know, we had the Royal Escape, which was also another success. It's the second event that we have. The radio station is also building. We had the second party last week. And I'll take you through some of the numbers. And the events, the travel and tourism business has grown quite significant as well. We're looking to change that significant in the next year with leisure inbound travel as well, which I think will be a good add-on to that part of the business. Just to take you through some competitive advantages of the events and tourism. Again, the statistics stands. It's grown a little bit, but it hasn't been done for the current year, so I'm quoting the last year's numbers. $500 million to the Western Cape GDP, $1 billion to the national GDP, 3,200 jobs regularly, the full travel offering from the group and the synergy. In fact, Tripos does the whole group's travel. Also, the radio station announced it's got 350,000 listeners in 2 years, so that's quite significant. And Tony just told me this morning that our revenues are record highs for a new radio station. So it's generating good revenues as well. So it's not just, I think the difficult times of our startup is kind of over now as well. Revenue-wise, as you can see, it's been flat, but again, we've been building. And again, at ESP specifically, we had the second event, which we focused and got it up. The previous year was quite a big jump. And again, it's marginal profits, but again, we're building a base. And as you know, with a travel company, especially in the business area, the margins are very small. Hence, we're moving into the leisure environment as well. Again, the future prospects, again, here we're looking to buy smaller and other companies, which I think we'll pick up as we go along. ESP is working flat out. In fact, Billy and the ESP team are not here today because they're busy working on a project in Johannesburg. Again, buying more business in the travel and tourism. We're looking at the company called Tribal Tours that we're looking to add onto. And again, we're looking to finalize something in the meeting, in the MICE space as well, to branch out into not just events, but into conference centers and conference management. The BioClones business, again, the cherry that I say is on top if it materializes with the R&D. So we're still chugging along with it with UCT. Again, we got the brands EPO, GSSF. We're working with CSIR as well and with UCT, obviously, and we're waiting for the MCC's approval still. On the strategic side, BT, as I said, just to give you some highlights, is not under strategic in future, but just to give you a sense of it. For the 30%, we paid 27 million in 2009. It's worth about R1 billion today, and hence that's the transfer that we want to do. And it's also part of the base of the IO listing with the existing operations and future growth. Saab, as I said, is growing steadily. Again, there we paid 125 million for Saab. It is a top exporter in the country up to 2016, actually. 85% is export, so it's a very good edge. We also get regular dividends from Saab as well. Signia, we bought an extra 0.6%. So now we don't own we bought another 8.8%. So now we're over 1%, which is quite significant for us. We invested at 13. I see we bought it on the rights offer, and we took up a couple extra. We bought it at 9 rand, and it's currently trading at 11.50. At about 11.50 today. And I think their results are coming out in the next few weeks, and I think they've sent out a trading update, so I think everything looks good for Signia as well. And again, from where we bought it, 2015, the share's done quite well, and we get regular dividends as well. Pioneer Foods, we got a 0.75%. We paid 87 million for it in 2012. It's currently worth 209, so we're still in the money. The share price has been under pressure for this last while, for various reasons. Throughout, I think that the CEO stepped down, but at least we're still in the money compared to what we paid for it originally. Just some market information. The share price, as I said, we're just giving you a tracker, so we had a constant increase. As I said earlier on, this share price went to 550. The market cap now must be over 2.5 billion, Malik? Must be over 2.5, eh? 2.7 to be exact now. So there's a steady increase. So, and if you look at the PE ratios, so you've got to find a mix, but the PE ratio of 8 still says it's cheap, and I'll tell you also why I think so. If you look at the earnings, it's quite significant. The net asset value is quite high. That's quite high. So that's, the net asset value has grown steadily, but it's still some significant value. Just some highlighted financial ratios, which we also believe that some of the analysts look for. Our margins, if you look at our gross margin, it's not we still run a tight ship and we get good margins out of business, even though we bought some IT companies with lower margins. With the efficiency that comes through, that's quite good margins. The quick ratio, I mean, the text, this is more like, it's almost like it's a textbook case here. 2.8 for a company that does investments as well as operational. The current ratio 3, yeah, anyway, it's and the return on investments, the return on assets is 19%. So I think we are beating all the market indicators, which is quite pleasing to see. Just again, this is what I put up here. It's the director's value. Our fishing, as you know, we listed it at 1.2 billion, and you know we did this acquisition. I don't think the market's really factored in this acquisition yet. Maybe they don't believe the numbers, maybe they don't believe what we bought it, or maybe they don't even believe why we could get it for the price we did. It's just patience pays off, and we've got Samir who's quite astute when it comes to the numbers, so he squeezes everything out, and once he squeezes them out, I come and pummel them further. The technology business, if you look at it, a minimum of 3 billion. The events and tourism, if you look at these numbers, if at that kind of numbers, if you look at on the company value, 9 Rand to 11 Rand on different bases. I took a PE of 12 on the current. That's what happened to the share price over the last 5 years. So we had a steady building platform, and then over the last 3 or 4 years. So I hope you see a trend here, because people always say to me, why didn't I tell them earlier? Anyway, from a strategic point of view, we've got a clear strategy. Everybody wakes up in the morning, they think 2020, they think, and it's not just 20, and let me just take you back where 2020 comes from. If you remember, what's his name? George Benson singing 2020 Vision. So it's 2020 Vision, so we want to see it clearly. But more importantly, 2020 is a big year for us. We said that we want to double everything. I was asked at the board meeting at the previous, 3 months ago, 2020, we've already met the targets. We must look at 2025 already now. So I said, hold on, let's just first finish this one. So, but you know how the pressure piles on. Anyway, so we said that we're going to list our IT business and fishing business by 2020. The fishing one is done. Tick. The IT one is next. We've got 2 more years to make it, and we're hoping to fast track that. Dividends to shareholders, as I said to you earlier on, we're paying dividends regularly. We're creating medium to long-term shareholder value, and as you can see from the slide previously, we're not in it for the short haul. We don't buy shares today or companies today and sell tomorrow, where we could do also, but that's not our strategy. So I always say to people, take a 3 to 5 year view on anything you do, whether it's life or your shares. And again, we try and run this business on a very sustainable basis. So any one of our business can withstand market conditions, which is important, right? And it's not dependent on 1 or 2 items. It's various variables that takes into account. This part here is quite key. We're quite involved in our stakeholders. I mean, from the ground, the communities all the way up. We see various institutions and stakeholders. Yes, and sometimes we get a serious grilling from our stakeholders, but we welcome it because they teach us something that we need to take into account, and we're happy to get constructive criticism at any stage. And the whole management team is happy to do that as well. So sometimes, like I said, especially on the fishing, which we haven't done for a while, but when we listed the fishing, we went to go give feedback afterwards, and they really dig into the numbers and they really give you a hard time. But you know, I think the team has withstood the test, and I think we've got good reviews back from all of our major stakeholders there as well. All right, so the KPIs for 2020, we want to see more revenue growth, operating profit growth, cash flow growth. I mean, I still run this business. Cash is king, right? Cash is king. So for me, if there's no money in the bank, what's the point, right? So, and that's the way I run the business. The fair values, IFRS, I mean, I went on record previously saying, IFRS doesn't understand business itself. IFRS doesn't understand management accounting. IFRS doesn't understand running a business. So cash is still king, but you've got to do what the auditors need to do, and obviously from a regulatory point of view, you do what you have to do. Increase in NAV, the growth in total assets. So all of those items, as you could see earlier on, we've achieved all of that and surpassed it. Non-financial, we want to maintain our BE status. I mean, we protect that with our lives, and I think that's a key competitive advantage that we do have. The health and safety, obviously, and I think that's specifically on the fishing side and everywhere else. I mean, we make sure that everything from a maintenance point of view on our boats and that, one life lost we take it very seriously. So far, we've been quite lucky, but it's not just luck. It's also that every year we make sure our boats and equipment get tested as well. The shareholder relationship, I think we're building with with seeing some of our stakeholders on a regular basis, and obviously these interactions. And I get emails on a regular basis from various stakeholders. They ask tough questions, but I think mostly they're satisfied with the answers. So. And the training development obviously is quite key for us. Again, we'll just grow organically, which we do by 10-15%, but we also want to acquire, and I think we want to protect what we have and acquire more businesses. And now with Samir sitting with quite a bit of money in his pocket, I think he's going to be quite bullish about buying. And I mean, I was asked yesterday, somebody called me and said to me, they heard a rumor about I&J, are we involved? So for the record, I did put my name in the hat. It's like David going to Goliath, but that's what we do. Consistent growth, the acquisitive growth, I think we're hungry for more. I think we want to buy more, but obviously strategic stuff, and I think we just won't buy for the sake of buying. We'll just grow it gently and steadily. Just some of the levers I said, we've managed all those things. The size of the pie, as you can see, is quite significant, and it looks like we're achieving them as we go along, because with growth of 40 to 50, 60% year on year, I think we're getting there. Again, as a tester for all of us, you can see some of our objectives we set 2 years ago. You can see there's a few completed, there's a few in progress, but we're well on track. Obviously, on the fishing one, we're on track with the listing. We want to engage with target companies. We made an announcement, so we're hoping to close that. It's subject to Section 21, which is the Department of Forestry and Fishing, and secondly, the Competitions Commission. So it should be routine, but it's a process. The effective date of the deal, however, is 30th of November, come what may. Subject to approvals, but if it takes 3 months to approvals, the effective date is still 30th November. Long-term rights, we were successful. We put it in also in this year. The abalone farm is in progress, so we're growing that thing steadily as well. And outside quota holders, we go out to the communities on a weekly basis, and we're picking up outside quota, because that's been a strategy of ours for the last 3 to 5 years. Very different to the other companies. So we understand the communities where they come from, and we also have set up a whole administration office at our office for them to come and learn about accounting and getting the clearances. On technology side, as I said, we're looking to unlock that as well as our Vision 2020. We're looking to buy 1 or 2 more businesses. As I said, we bought 2, and that we originally set out, we had to revisit it, and obviously we're making quite a bit of noise and moves in the IT sector. We believe that's going to be a big play for us in the medium to long term. On the events and tourism, I say, there's a lot of synergy with the tourism, with the travel business, ESP, they're selling packages, cross packaging. Magic has just done well. Again, 350 listeners is quite significant for us. We want to get Tony to get us up to 1 million, but I think that's going to be a tall order. But he's growing it quite steadily. On tripods, I said, the turnaround is completely complete. Revenue lines are up, and we're looking to acquire now, so now we can get to scale. And as I said, with the ESP, some new events as well. On the strategic side, we're looking for opportunities all the time. These opportunities are starting to knock on our doors. Again, it's timing, it's how to pay for them and how to structure them. And as I said, the new Signia stake that we bought is also quite significant for us. On the DCVs, again, it's all ongoing. That's R&D. UCT is still working with us, and we're trying to get MCC approval. On the health, as I said, health and beauty, as I said, we changed directions. We got the cosmetics business. And for the first year, the cosmetics business already making money, so it's quite significant for us. And on the Vibaxin side, I think we're making good traction, and the revenue lines are starting to improve quite significantly as well. Just a value add, I think you've seen this slide before. We don't just play South Africa. We obviously trying to be a global player. So because we play and we obviously selling all over the world. Our stakeholders are all over the world. There's a lot of tradition in the networking that we do, and also when we visit our customers and agents in America and China. There's lots of traditions, but we get through it. And just that's some of our investees or investments. As you can see, they're big brands. It's not Mickey Mouse stuff, and as I said, they will grow. Just our achievements. We've got BE accreditation. We've been a top empowered company again. As I said, we want to protect our empowerment status, with our lives, because that is a key factor. And the fact that we're also a performing company with empowerment credentials and governance, I think that's a good triangle to have. The brands, I'm going to just run through them very quickly. As you can see, we're building significant brands. So it's not just by numbers, it's also by the brands that we're building. You can see this is how the IT group has grown over time. So it's starting to build quite nicely. On the health and beauty side, some of those brands you may have recognized. So all our own companies and our own brands. The Royal Escape is the one we had in Sun City. PT again, I think. And in conclusion, and maybe just to wrap up, protect this with our lives, but we're getting awards for it, so it means that we are on track with what we're trying to achieve with all our PE credentials and that. The results I'm not going to run through again, but as you can see, the R1 billion revenue is a serious milestone, is another record for ourselves. It's 111% profit increase, which is quite significant. Again, these are some of our KPIs, as I said earlier on from our Vision 20. You can see the growth in assets, the growth in net asset value. Our debt is extremely low, long-term debt. We probably need to increase it, but for the right reasons, maybe buying more companies. As I said, the NAV of the shares is quite still low, and there's some value still left in it. As I said, this dividend slide is obviously quite significant. So it's 127% up from last year. Last year we paid 3.3 cents dividend, and we finalized 2 cents dividend interims and a 5.5 cents dividend for final. So it's a 7.5 cents. So it's quite significant. Yeah. And that's it. So now I'll handle any questions if anybody wants. Yeah. So we're also streaming there in case there's, So I'm going to stand here instead of walking around. Okay. Is there any questions anybody wants to ask? Anthony?
What is the underlying nature of that business growth? And, is there a evaluation what you've had there a true reflection of its current prospects? Because you had a really big growth year on year in that underlying business. So what is that business, and why is it doing so well for you?
Okay, so for us, so when we bought that again, as I said to you earlier on, and the price we paid for it was indicative of when they arrived in the country 10 years ago. Their profits have gone up by about 20 times when we bought them. So there's been significant growth, and the strategy that they've put in place is obviously we're going to get more involved because we understand it's the African market, we understand the African market a lot better. The valuation that's built in there is based on various things. It's based on the DCV as well as to some extent on profit earnings forecast as currently as well. So we believe that there's significant value. In fact, we put it at the price, which I think is still conservative, but because it's putting it from our left pocket into our right pocket within the group. But obviously tell the story, and I think the prospect for BT is excellent in the country. Okay. Can I just mention the name as well as you? I know Anthony is.
Hi. Congratulations on your achievement and teamwork this year. Financial highlights, which is on page 24 of your technology division. I find it difficult to follow it. If you can get the slide. That one we haven't got, have we?
No, I don't think you've got this one. Yeah, this was a late entry, but I thought that I thought you're going to ask that question, AB.
Right.
That's my job to outthink you, right? So I thought that this question may come up. So just to explain to you, and it is confusing, but as you can see, the revenue has grown. So organically, and by doing what we do best, we've grown this business quite significantly.
Right.
And hence, this is my point earlier when I said, sometimes you want to buy, now we've got the platform based here, you want to buy bigger companies with low margin also, because you can afford to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I say out of our existing business and the small acquisitions, we're making 52 million rands worth of profit out of 480.
Right.
So the business has grown as well, outside of the BT. The second slide that you're talking about, this includes the BT fair value, and that's the question that Anthony raised. But I'm just trying to, the slide here is trying to show you that our IT company has grown as well. It's not just, it's just not just.
So your director's valuation of 3 billion is based on BT and this division?
No. The valuation for BT is about 500 and something million. So it's not 3 billion.
On page 44.
No, you're talking about the total value of the IT group.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would be this group here?
Correct. Yeah. The IT group, that's this IT group that we're saying is the estimated value.
Which you're valuing at 3 billion?
Which we're valuing at 3 billion at the minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. That's not a forecasted valuation, that's currently so. But maybe this slide was especially for you.
Mr. Goiking, I would like to know more about Genius bioclones. Well, is it still the cherry on top of everything?
Yeah, as I said, it's still a cherry on top. So I don't worry too much about it. We've got our scientists and we've got our doctors that are looking after it. Sam is here if you want to chat to him later. But it is we're still chugging along with it, and we still believe there's possibilities there as well. Yeah. But as you can understand, it's become a less significant matter in the bigger scheme of the group now. Where I know 5-10 years ago, maybe to your question. So so it's we're still part of the big cherry.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay. This question back there.
Good morning. Well done on your results. My name's Anton from Premier Platform. I'd just like to talk a little bit about further acquisitions. Can you give us some color as to what you expect to pay for those acquisitions and where they situated? Are they local companies? Are they international companies?
So the first part of your question is a dangerous question when you ask me how much we prepared to pay. We don't want to pay anything for them. We will help you grow them. Now, but then we'll look whatever's fair. I mean, we'll pay depending on the industry you're talking about. In the fishing industry, depending on where you are in your cycle, because there's 2020 coming, we'll try and pay between 3 and 6 times, depending on your results. On the IT side, and depending on how it fits in, it could be anything from 4 to 8 times, so it all depends. But yes, we are very interested in acquisitions. Obviously, within the strategic fit of our businesses as well, so we've got the various sectors in, so that's why I laid out in the way I do. So if it fits into one of those sectors, that's what we're looking for. On the strategic side, obviously, we're looking for the bigger one, where we could take a 10, 15, 20, 25, 30% stake. That could be anything, as long as we understand and can play a role in it, and I think that's quite key. A lot of the strategic ones come in, and we will help them walk the streets and understand the African market. But we're looking for value assets out there. Deep value, preferably, so that we can unlock more value, but you must come with us for the ride then.
Are you looking locally or internationally?
Well, both, locally and internationally. We wanted to make sure that we bed the locals down, but internationally we definitely, I mean, we've been overseas already to look at opportunities. But again, pricing, the volatility of the rand, dollar, that's things that you got to price in and understand that. And to convince your investment committees, it's also a tough task, especially in the current political and economic climate where we don't know where to pitch the rand and dollar and foreign exchange. So maybe in the new year, we look at those international ones as well. So there's not long to wait, so we can make a proper call.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any more questions? No, well, we'll be outside still, and happy to take any other questions in the foyer. Or a lot of the executives are here. You may know some of them. I'm sure you do. if you've got any specific and direct questions, and you can ask them as well. Good? Thank you, guys.